Hey guys, Thomas the Jr. here, aka Mustached, here to review the series Chucky. If you end up enjoying this review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description. The first will head you over to my Discord, second to my Patreon, and third to my PayPal. Any donations to primarily my PayPal are greatly appreciated. And if you have any requests, feel free to contact me via either Discord or Twitter or any of the other things. And with shilling out of the way, I'll be reminded at the end of the review. And with that, let's get into the show known as Chucky. So, this is something that caught my attention, obviously a little late, considering when I'm reviewing this, but nonetheless, I eventually got around to seeing all of Chucky, and I'm here to share my objective take on the show. So I suppose I should talk a little bit about the previous movies, obviously, to give you a little bit of the setup here, because people might not, follow Chucky as well as some of the other killers. So the original movie was actually called Child's Play, which came out obviously a while ago. And eventually, after that trilogy passed, it eventually did become Chucky, and then Chucky had his little trilogy, or 4 movies, I actually believe, a quadrilogy, if you will, and then eventually it got rebooted, and the reboot, potentially ruined it, and then now we have a show, here, named Chucky. And that is the full length of everything that I'm aware of that deals with Chucky. Now, in terms of how I have felt about this, is I always felt like Chucky, comparatively to the other 2 big named killers, Jason and Freddy, and Ghostface, or what, the collar one, anyway. Those top, the serial killers gallery here. I always felt like Chucky felt a little closer to, like, say, a Freddy, but, like, even more on the comical side of killing people. And even then, I would say, I think people know of Freddy a lot more, I would wager. Most likely. But, Chucky did exist, and if you have a fear of dolls, I guess, there's that additional thing. And, they try to make dolls creepy and all that good stuff. Anyway, all that aside, we're here to talk about the show. This is obviously a more unscripted thing, because I'm talking about an entire season, and it'd probably be a lot harder to go about each episode and really dig deep on each episode, instead of just going over an entire season in a more general sense. And from a general sense, the issue I have with this show is something that has been in horror for quite a while, and that has been that the characters, or lack thereof, or, barely scratching the surface of what a character could be in the case of Chucky, does lead to that weird line that horror seems to tread a lot, and especially in more modern horror movies, about, like, when you don't care about the characters, you actually start to root for the killer, which is something that has been probably said more than once, fairly. That is not an uncommon thing. I think I've said it myself in a few movies, almost like, ugh, these characters, they just gotta go. It doesn't matter. Let the killer do his thing. And that trend I find really irritating, because I feel it does miss the true essence of horror. And I've stated it time and again now on this channel, when Good writing aside, specifically within the horror genre, if I were to pinpoint it, when you have good writing within horror, uh, even if you're a person that is who doesn't tend to get afraid of things, you might find yourself becoming afraid for the character, which is something that I would think would be very impactful. And I feel like this show, based on its length, it tries to walk toward that line, but never quite reaches it. This season only has 8 episodes, which I find odd that a show, and I don't know if this is something that's new that's happening, where seasons are just getting shorter and shorter. I don't know if it's just Chucky. I think there was like one other show I was watching where it was like, again, it was like 8 or something episodes along that same length. I was just like, why? Why would you handicap yourself to 8 episodes to tell this story or a set of stories or whatever? You can only, and I don't want to hear the excuse of you can only do so much with Chucky. I mean, he's had quite an extensive journey throughout his killing career, including banging a female doll, having a kid, raising even more Chucky dolls in the movies, in the late fourth one, right before the reboot. So clearly, you know, Chucky has stuff going on here, and I think there's stuff to explore beforehand, which, again, to give the show its credit, it does do that. It does feature Charles Lee Ray, the killer, his name beforehand, and giving even more context to how he was messed up for a really long time, even since he was a kid, and stuff like that. I feel like that is when the show is literally at its strongest, is when we're learning more about his character, or from that perspective, since we are sort of kind of following him a little bit more. But we also have our crew of characters here, and it's bad because I can't recall any of their names. That should probably tell you a lot of the show's quality when and lack of my note-taking abilities for this is really going to show here, because again, I just don't know I don't remember any of the characters' names outside of Chucky, obviously. So I'll unfortunately have to refer to them as their quality quirks that they are known for in the show. So our main character is the one right to the left of the knife. His whole ordeal is that he lives in a pretty shitty household, all things considered. His father is abusive, apparently, and becomes much more apparent as we actually see it a bit. And then, outside of that, he's gay, which, I said it before, and I'll say it as many times as I need to, you can write good gay characters, and I feel like here they start to walk a line of that, but then they're just like, he's gay. I honestly feel like that's what happened to him, and it's a shame that once again we have hit that again, and this time it's in a live-action show, which, more of my gripes in the past have been more towards animated shows, but, it's gonna be the same either way, animated or live action. If you want to make a gay character, that's totally fine. Just make it an interesting and a good character first, and then, if that character happens to be gay, that's fine. But again, the good writing part is, I feel like, consistently missing. And again, I feel like they were walking towards potential here with this character, but then they sort of just drop the ball, I feel like. I feel like he never escapes just being the kid that is, uh, you know, outside of being bullied. I can't really. I suppose he's a collector. I think that's a quality thing. I don't know. It's sort of more of a thing to get the plot going more than it feels like it's an actual character trope. I mean, if that were true, if he was a true collector, you would think that would show throughout his household, that there were, especially in his room, there would be more dolls or something if he was a true collector, if that was a thing that was apparent to his character, like he was actually really into this thing about collecting dolls. And again, since it's only Chucky that we're dealing with, it feels like more just to get the plot moving more so it is than something that is actually true to the character, and explicitly that. The girl to his right, she's sort of the average bitchy character, if I may use that word still. And we also see that her parents are not very good parents either, and that's probably the extent of why she is the way she is as well. And him and her have a sort of this back and forth of hating each other, or, she gets like this prank off of him that's, well, she dresses up as his dead dad at a party, so it's kind of fucked up. And, he kind of jumps from that really hurts to I'm gonna kill you pretty quickly, again, 8 episodes. And even more quickly is how much they repair their friendship, that seems to just happen like this, by the way. Over getting attacked and all that stuff. The kid to the left, the black character there, he's slightly obsessed with news and having a podcast, and particularly within his podcast he talks about, killings, obviously connected to that, and he is the eventual gay partner of our main character. Again, I felt like they could have done more with him, but it feels like, again, they were kind of like, oh, he's not gay at the beginning. It seemed like that was something that they were kind of almost alluding to in the first few episodes, and then suddenly, the main character being like, "Oh, I'm gay," or the black character's mom is like, "Oh, he's gay. Your friend is gay," and then they suddenly are like holding hands, and then, in the episode they kiss, and it's an awkward kiss, and then they have the most interesting aspect of their relationship is that it breaks so easily, almost. I almost feel like that's the most interesting, but again, it just happens, everything's just happening so quickly that there's very little time to process this level of information that is constantly being, again, 8 episodes. This is the issue with having something this short. The kid to the furthest left seems to be the most sportly of the bunch. He, again, he's cousins with the main character, I believe it is, their relationship. And his girlfriend is the blonde on the right there. Soletta's are 4 characters that we see on the poster. There are other characters throughout that die, mainly their parents or relatives. Obviously, the police are investigating into the situation, which would be the black character's mom, uh, and it all revolves back to the main character, and if he's connected or not, and how this deals with Chucky. And surprisingly, they actually get the grown-up version of the main character from the original Child's Play as an adult. They got him back. They got him back in the fourth movie as well, in the Chucky movie. They brought him back again for this series, as well as the voice of Chucky, as well as Jennifer Tilly. So, three clearly invested people in this franchise back for this. And he's back, Andy, since he's playing that character once again. He comes back once again, already in the know-how of how Chucky works and all, that's his character now. And he's sort of this veteran who goes around, and we see him, his introduction is pretty interesting, where he just, goes to a house with his partner. I believe it's his sister, or I forget what the relationship is, actually. But she's she knows him somehow, point being. But anyways, they want to know if there's a Chucky doll in there with this random kid. She does happen to have one, and then eventually the Chucky doll tries to attack, and then Andy and this woman proceed to shoot it down. This version of Chucky down, dead, and drive off, essentially. Again, just no nonsense, just get to the Chucky, kill him, even though he's, throughout this show, acquiring even more Chucky dolls to his service, on top of having two versions of Jennifer Tilly, the one that's in the live body and the one that's in the doll, all present and accounted for. So Chucky has quite an array of ways to attack, and does so quite efficiently, even though he gets thwarted. Versions of him do anyway. And yeah, the season ends, I guess not even that surprisingly, with a cliffhanger, because more and more shows are doing the whole, you gotta have a season 2, gotta keep churning material out. And the show definitely ends with a pretty big one, with Andy driving off with a bunch of Chucky dolls, and then he's being held at gunpoint. The gay couple sort of just get back together, I guess, because their breakup wasn't... Again, I don't even know why that even happened, to be quite frank. And the other two, the sportsy kid got invested in Chucky's horror ordeal, so I'm not sure if he's, gonna be, a killer. He kind of fell into the wayside a bit there, killed his own dad. And, other characters definitely, kind of falling to that setup of, they're setting up something, that person's gonna die this episode, or something along those lines. So yeah, I feel like, as an overall package, while the show does technically live up to its title, I guess, since, that's, that, I do feel like it unfortunately foibles on its content surrounding its other characters, and trying to set up something that could be a little bit more grounded for something that involves around a doll killing people. So yeah, I would probably give this show a 4 out of 10 as a whole. And yeah, that's essentially what I have for this review. So if you ended up enjoying this whole review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out those links in the description. One will head you over to my Discord server, the other to my Patreon page, and the last to my PayPal. Any donations there will be appreciated. And if you have a specific request, if you meet whatever thing I need for that, then I will do so. And until next time, everyone, bye bye.